Welcome to another episode of What's the Story? Today I have a friend of mine, Mr. Jared Lucero. Welcome, Mr. Jared, Mr. CEO.
Thank you.
I brought him onto the podcast today to talk about his position as CEO of Live for Your Convenience. So let's dive right in. Where did the idea for that come from?
Um, Honestly, there's there was a whole bunch of ideas that played into this particular project. But basically, what Live is it's a mentorship platform online where people could go in and meet up with mentors and get engaged within their community, and with that, hopefully learn something about any particular industry, for like mechanics or culinary. Um, business, anything along those lines. So that's kind of where the idea started. Um, and yeah, I mean, like we just got a lot to do still in developing the website, but I'm glad it's in the beginning stages and kind of moving somewhat streamlined. So, but yeah, that idea actually kind of stemmed from like when you and I went to that event, and
Mhm.
understanding like everybody there was trying to be mentors and coaches and providing that as a service. So I felt like this would probably be like a better way, or a different way of going about, finding those mentors and not having to worry about paying an extravagant consulting fee um, for any particular business.
Fair enough, because you see, or at least I see constantly on Instagram, I see these ads for buy my course for $1,000. It's $4,000 off right now. And you're
Yeah,
like, well, I mean, how much value am I going to get out of it? Where like
right.
it's just videos, and I can't contact the person or actually talk to them about their experience, you know? Oh,
Right.
bless you.
And thanks. Yeah, and that was really like the biggest thing that had pointed all of that out to me, because yeah, just seeing all of those advertisements just being like, hey, yeah, buy my course, hey, like I'm this coach, I'm that coach, and we're all coaches. And it kind of just got me into thinking, well, it's like, well, if I'm trying to be a consultant too, like what is this really stepping out of in terms of like being different from everybody else? So I figured I'd just take that whole consulting aspect and just consolidate it into basically a online teaching program for people.
Okay, and do you have a specialty that you teach in? Want to coach in?
Yeah, so right now I'm focused on the music industry, as well as esports, and the social media marketing. So everything that I've been doing essentially is creating videos based off of problems that I've been facing in my own business, and going about how to like edit those and put them online for people to learn. Because I know, like, if I have these problems, there's countless others that have the
Sure.
same thing.
Gotcha. What's the main issue that you faced so far, the biggest one?
Web development.
Web development. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, it's that one's extremely hard because there's only so much that I know as far as like graphic design, and to be able to go in the back end and say, well, I need a menu within a menu within a menu,
Right.
and that gets difficult, because now that goes into reprogramming the actual you know uh, element that's on the screen there. So yeah, the web development part is the hardest. It's You got to learn that.
Are you building from scratch or are you using a website builder?
I'm building from scratch. So I bought the website through Wix.
Mhm.
And then I got like the whole business thing, the whole package deal. So I got everything, like all the resources that I need. Um, but as far as like developing the website, that's kind of the problem that I'm facing right now. So, but other than that, I mean, I got a pretty good list for content. And right now, I think that's probably the biggest thing that I'm going to be focusing on from here on out, is just making more content and having that on there.
Okay.
So to drive traffic through there. So
What do you advertise on? Like, do you do the videos on YouTube or Instagram or?
yeah, so basically I do all of them. that the general basis of everything is to have the live stream there. So when you go to the website, you'll see it actually has the YouTube. I think I have YouTube embedded in there right now. And from there, I need to figure out some way of putting the chat, if it's possible to put the chat. I was using Twitch for that reason because they had the chat box there.
Right.
So they can just engage right away. But yeah, right now I'm going through YouTube. Eventually, I want to be able to actually just host my own broadcasting service.
Okay. Do you have a specific platform
Yeah.
that you hope to do that for, or is it something you want to embed for your own, like just on your own website?
I would like to try and like eventually develop it, hire some sort of developer or app developer, something like that, that can embed that in there and have the chat box and the immediate engagement.
So everyone stays on your site and keeps engaged.
Right. And they're not going to Twitch. They're not going to YouTube.
Getting
That
distracted
way.
and doing other things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you hit it right on the head. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Eventually what I would like to do is get into my own content and getting that all edited and posted up on there, as well as just bringing on board more people to have on the show. So you eventually will have on there too.
Oh,
Yeah. So, but yeah, it'll be sick, dude, because like if you think about it, it's kind of like taking your concept right here and just putting it on a platform where it's easily advertisable. You don't necessarily have to worry about ad spend or anything like that.
Okay.
Then I do all the back end and just driving the traffic to those particular pages and target those audiences in their own respects. So yeah.
Okay. So no more paying Instagram and paying Facebook to run my ads that people might see.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. So you would have your own little page, and then I would have I would be running my own ads through Instagram, Facebook to help drive traffic to you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have to worry about doing it. I have you to do it for me, basically.
Right. And then all you have to focus
Gotcha.
on is just creating the content.
Takes so much stress off.
Yeah, it's like a universal social media outlet, if you will.
Because right now it's like I'm making the content and I'm trying to worry about ads and I'm like posting and trying to get the word out there, and it's just like it's so much.
Right. Yeah.
So that'd be so much simpler.
Yeah.
So, how many people do you hope to reach? Let's say, all right, well, let's do a list of goals. What's the end goal for this year?
So the end goal for this year is to at least get but actually by the end of next month, I have a few videos that I need to go through and edit. So basically, yeah, the goal at the end of the year is to have videos up, as well as a weekly broadcasting that we're doing. Yeah, and then right now, like I said, it's just the web development, setting up profiles and stuff for the people that we bring on board. My target market for bringing people on board would be college students, because they're looking for a shot, basically. So, and I think this would be a very valuable platform for them to have, in addition to any other individuals that are up and coming, trying to learn, as well as teach people through that process.
Okay.
So yeah, by the end of the year, we should have the show up and running and some content being posted there.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, you don't really have a specific theme for the site itself. It's just whoever wants to come on and teach about their content, right?
Right. Yeah. So and that could be anybody, it got to the point one time where I was just kind of thinking, like, you can meet anybody, that could teach you anything, whether they're smart, stupid, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. So it was kind of like an addition to that was like you could meet somebody on the bus stop, at the bus stop, and just like have a great conversation to the point that it's like, whoa, like this person, spent 10 minutes of their time and changed my life, changed my entire outlook. And that's a very valuable thing to have, is for people to communicate with each other like that. And then, yeah, like I said, like one of my biggest problems was like, that I've noticed, that I've observed living through life um, was education. You know, people popping out of the education system and still not knowing, well, what do I do? You know, like that is a huge problem. And then the other thing about it was, okay, well, now we know what we want to do, right? Well, how do I get into the industry? Like, how do I get it? Like, how do I make it big doing what I want to do? So yeah, it's those two questions that really popped into mind when this whole concept came to fruition.
Right, because you have those people that spend the hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to college, and then they get out and they don't have a job.
Right,
They have all this debt. So where do you go from here?
right.
You put your
Yeah, so
name
it's
on LinkedIn and you try and meet people, and they're just not responding and not getting back to you, and they just don't want to be bothered.
yeah, yeah, and it gets tough too, because and I understand, like a lot of business owners, they live very busy lives. I get that. Um, Also, like it's just more or less like, well, how can we, especially now in a time like COVID too, where everything is being streamed, um, the value of streaming actually went up
Hmm.
a massive amount. I mean, Zoom itself skyrocketed when COVID started. So it was kind of interesting to see all of this before it happened and to see the value behind it. And then now where it's exploded into this market,
Hmm.
um, and how people are utilizing streaming today. And yeah, it's crazy to me that you can be clear across the world yet connect with people like you and I right now. You know,
Right.
you're out there in Cali and I'm here in Denver. So it's
Exactly.
that's the wicked part to me. And then to think about technology and where it was even just 10 years ago. So it's crazy, man.
How fast everything's advancing, and that was actually something else I wanted to touch on. You is how is COVID affecting everything?
COVID it's kind of interesting because when COVID originally started, everybody seemed to explode into this whole everything's going down, businesses are shutting down, right? And in my eyes, I was looking for a way out during that time. So I was kind of just like, well, um, like let me take on more hours at the daily job, go do that and build bigger income. So I was doing that in addition to just sitting down and learning, because it's not like you could go outside and spend your money, right? Everybody's shut down. So it was more or less for me, I was thinking, okay, well, how can I, like, what can I do with this? Granted, like, we're making money, but how can I invest it? How can I spend more time studying the social media? Let me spend more time learning OBS. Let me spend more time on the web development, everything. So through that sort of mindset of like, okay, well, now I have more time, because before it wasn't. Um, so yeah, now I had more time. So I was just sitting there studying and just, raking in money, and then ended up getting my car and, investing into some other things that would like keep me going.
Hmm.
And so if me, in my personal opinion, when we look at it, 2020 was not a bad year at all. That was a complete year of growth. And then ended up getting another job working through the night, so that was even more cash flow. And just, yeah, I mean, it really helped in the sense of development and research and development
There
in
you
those
go.
stages of business. So yeah, it was very valuable. So COVID didn't affect me at all. It was just more inspirational, if anything.
You got to take the negatives and turn them into positives.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good that COVID didn't really affect you all that much, and that you were able to build off of it.
Oh yeah. No, and like it's kind of interesting too, because seeing to it now, it's like, well, where's the equity in adversity, right?
Hmm.
Where can one bounce back when things are going down? And it kind of makes you think of like forex or like the stock markets and options, when stocks go down and you're still able to make money off of
Oh
it.
yeah.
So Um, so yeah, it's just really interesting how everything kind of plays out in that sense.
right? Like you expect the world to shut down and people
Yeah,
would be like people would shut down also, but you know, you have the people like yourself who just grow from it.
yeah,
You know, most people are sitting at
yeah,
home just
definitely. And
sorry, go ahead.
oh no, no, I was just going to say yeah, I mean, and for most people, yeah, it did really impact them negatively. Like one of my clients that I was working with at the time, um, I mean, he owned a suit shop downtown Denver, and yeah, they shut down for like 2 months, and coming back out of that, it was like, hey, all right, so um, we have all these changes to the website, like let's market that. We have all these products that we need to get onto the website, like let's do that. So it really just played into like more time and bridging out from that and kind of showing just everybody in that sense that like now would be the time to give stuff away for free.
Right.
And granted, every business owner wants to make money. I get that. Um, Especially when things are so tough right now. But in the long run, giving away a free sandwich, can really, really help somebody out. It's what, like $10, right? But $10 for somebody else in that sense can put gas in their car. $10
Mhm.
can buy baby food. It can go a long way. So that was another kind of reason for looking at the free aspect and giving, providing education for free, because now individuals, they're hurting in their wallets. They have these stimulus checks, yes, but that should be used for, whatever they got to use it for. Um, but I think it's really cool to think now where, um, like the knowledge behind it, yes, you get a stimulus check, but we're teaching programs for free on what to do with that money, because
Okay.
it's not just willy-nilly go shopping.
Right.
In my eyes, it was like, okay, well, like let's put this toward an investment, like let's put this somewhere where it's going to work for us.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, don't go buy a purse or buy a new watch. Like buy some books and start learning some things, or put it like learn how to take some of it and put it in the stock market or something, reinvest it, make more money off of it.
Right. So yeah, the whole free aspect in COVID is I think really cool. And then like even then too, to look at different industries, like my sister, she's a financier with Bank of Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so she was in the meat of it, taking in all the PPP loans and processing and underwriting and stuff like that. So to see her position and everything and how that's exploding, where these people are like going to loans for emergencies.
Hmm.
And then where was I going with that? So yeah, just the way it affected different industries. And she's trying to offer things, her own service for free,
Okay.
outside of what she does, like, hey, like let me help out with your finances because I understand people need it right now.
Hmm.
So I definitely learned a lot from her too during that entire year of just kind of watching her and how she was dealing with everything. And just kind of looking back, like, all these business owners are struggling. She's giving her stuff away for free. Like I should probably emulate this because um she's providing value.
Oh,
There's a lot of value being brought to the table in that sense.
that's really good, you know, because a lot of people are staying at home, doing their thing, don't want to be bothered because of, you know, COVID and stuff. And then they have the people like yourself and your sister who are actively trying to get out there and get people back on track so that everybody can start helping each other out.
Yeah. I was actually kind of curious. So were you in Florida still
Yeah.
during COVID? Yeah. Did you guys shut down? Like how was that out there?
Florida was weird because, like, even right now, like coming from Florida and going to California, like when you live in Florida, everything opened back up so you can go into a store and not have to worry about capacities or standing outside to wait for somebody to leave. And one of the first days that I came here, We went to, I think it was a Walmart, and like we had to, they stopped us outside. Like we, obviously everyone had to wear a mask, but they stopped us outside. There was a line and we had to wait for people to come out so other people could go in. That was very foreign to me, you know.
Yeah.
And then like even at home in Florida, the theme parks were opened to at a certain capacity, so I could go to the theme parks and go out and enjoy myself and, forget it the day or two. And then you come here and everything is still closed. Like, the movie theaters I think just opened back up, and they were opened in Florida, I think, under capacity,
Wow.
but it was a big change.
Yeah. Were they I'm curious as do you think like they just kept things open because it was hot, or was it like, do you feel like it was mainly politics, or
I feel
was
like,
there a lot of risk to opening up, do you feel like?
yeah. I mean, the rumors about Florida Man are true. Florida men are everywhere. So the state's just crazy to begin with, but that's beside the point. I feel like it was just more of like a tourism thing because Florida's all beaches and theme parks.
Right.
But other than that, it's retirement, and people that are retired are taking money in, and whatever. So I feel like they had to do it for the theme parks and kind of open the beaches to kind of get the flow of the money in the state moving again.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so wicked. And I was even thinking of taking like a small little, because everything's so cheap now, right? So I was
Yeah,
thinking just buying like a quick round trip ticket to Florida and go visit for a little bit.
yeah,
So but now I have to go to California.
yeah. Hey, come on out. Everything's slowly opening back up out here.
Good. Yeah, no, that's good. Same here in Denver. It's actually I'm actually kind of surprised at uh how everybody has been handling it here. Because granted, like Colorado was probably one of the quickest spreading,
Hmm.
but here in Denver, like everything shut down. Business owners were very cautious. Even like the governor, and politically, like everybody's still being very cautious. Um, so I think it's really good. Uh, and then the situation with the vaccines though is kind of where I'm like, how like are we doing things too quickly?
Right.
So um but I mean, it seems like everything's going through just fine, so I need to go get my own vax. Have you gotten yours yet?
I have not, but all my roommates, they work for the county in the public buildings, so they had to get their vaccines. So they had the 2 round shots, and they said that the first one wasn't too bad, but the second one, they had to take like a day and a half off of work because they didn't get sick necessarily, but they had symptoms like they had the chills and they had like body aches and like a headache.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So,
So
but
yeah, so they've already gotten both of them then.
yeah, they're good to go. I haven't gotten mine yet though.
That's crazy, but I mean, they're all fine now, right? Like
Oh
they're
yeah,
operated.
they never really got sick. Actually, so it was funny last year, last February when I was in Florida, before everything shut down, I got sick and I couldn't say it was like a flu or a fever, and I felt really weird for a few days, so I took a few days off of work and then I bounced back. It wasn't super serious. I feel like I might have gotten a small strain of COVID
Yeah.
because I got it and then mom got it. My grandpa luckily did not get it. So we had it for a few days. And so I'm hoping, kind of in a way, that I had it and my body fought it off.
Yeah.
And then my one of my roommates he actually had COVID when they took a trip to Germany. So the entire trip he had it, and when he came back, he went to the doctor, and the doctor told him that his body had COVID and built up the antibodies to fight it off on its own.
Wow.
So I mean, we're pretty good here right now. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. No, yeah, and that's wicked because and just to see how many people show symptoms and how many people don't. Like one of my sister's friends, talking to her, she was like, "Yeah, apparently I had COVID, and but I didn't get sick or anything." But she was actually working in a very dense area where COVID was very prominent.
Hmm.
So so yeah, I'm actually surprised that she didn't show significant symptoms. She said that I guess she got like some sinus issues or something like that, but it wasn't anything serious.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you had
Um,
any brushes with it at all?
No, and it surprises me too because I work in food, right? So like on the side going out and about separate from business is like I work in the food. So um and to see how many people would come in and out, that we'd engage with was just kind of a trip. And every single conversation was like COVID, 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 COVID. It's
Right.
like, well, I'm not scared. I'm not like not scared. So
Right.
it kind of, and in my eyes it kind of helped though too, because it relaxed that fear. Everybody's so fearful at one time because
Yeah.
it just hit California, and then the entire country is shut down. So
Right.
so yeah, at that point it was just like, all right, well, um let's see what happens. If I get sick, I get sick. Like, it's gonna suck, but
Sure.
we'll see what happens. And thank God now they have the vaccine out, and luckily I can qualify for that too before working in food.
Right.
And so yeah, it's crazy, man.
I will say that in a positive way also, it's been a good boost for delivery services like myself. So I'm doing Shipped right now, where especially in Florida, it was Instacart and it was here or there. Where here out in Florida or California, I'm sorry, it's a constant thing. So like you're on the schedule, and a lot of people here in California don't want to go out. They don't want to have the interaction with anybody unless they have to. So I'm like, I can get a bunch of orders in a day, and they're all drop it off at my door, take a picture, and leave. Like you don't have to have the interaction with people because of the fear.
Right.
And the stores aren't as crowded because they're limiting the people that are in there so you can get the shopping done a little bit faster and more efficiently. So
Yeah.
in a way, it's good for people that are doing like food delivery or grocery delivery or something like that. You know,
And I can definitely see that too. Like, I was doing Postmates for a little while, and yeah, just to see how that booms sometimes is like, man, like people are really delivering this much food.
right,
So, but yeah, and like you said too, grocery delivery is huge because for that reason, you got an entire generation of baby boomers that can't go outside essentially. So that's how many, can't even remember how many 40, 56,000 babies, something like that.
big chunk.
But yeah, if you think about it, that's an entire like market on its own of people that can't get their food, in
Hmm.
addition to people like you and I who may just be busy all the time, that it's easiest for them to just look on an app, click whatever products they need and get it shipped to you.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's really interesting, man, to see how everything kind of like played out in that sense, and then how it applies to businesses too, and developing that.
Right. And like there was one order that I did a few weeks ago, and it was a lot of baby products. And I'm like, okay, I understand this person doesn't want to go out because they have a very young child or a newborn in the house and they don't want to get the child exposed. I'm like, that makes sense. It's.
Yeah. So I've been actually curious too. So have you been so yeah, you said the theme parks have been closed out there in California. So
Yeah.
how long have you been living there?
Since was it the last weekend or the first weekend of February?
Oh, so okay, you moved there when I moved into my new place here.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Congratulations, by the way. I saw the
Yeah, no,
the
thanks,
email.
dude. Like, it was I've been dying to get out of my sister's place for so long, and now it's like, oh my God, we're here.
It's finally happening.
Yeah. Um yeah, no, that's amazing, man. So have you gone out to any theme parks recently? I know you said one of them was shut down for a little while.
So when I was in Florida, I was going when they had reopened. It took me a while to get back because I think we shut down what, March, April, around that time. And
Okay.
then I don't think they reopened until almost the end of summer. So August, I think we had 3 months off. So I want to say like June, July, something like that. And I didn't go back until like October because they had Halloween Horror Nights, and I just can't stay away from Halloween Horror Nights. So I had to go back for that, and it was very safe. So they have everyone has to wear a mask. They give you a temperature screening before you exit the parking lot. So before
Okay.
they let anybody really get in together with each other, you have to be temperature screened. You go through security one at a time. You have to wear your mask, and then every line is socially distanced. The shows are all spread out, so everyone's a row or two apart in all the shows. And after every show, they wipe everything down. And then if you go on a ride, before everyone gets on a ride, everybody has to have a squirt of hand sanitizer.
A squirt of hand sanitizer. Okay.
Yeah, so everybody gets that. So they are taking precautions. Some restaurants are closed because you can't sit, too close or too far, whatever. So it's nice to be able to go and do that in Florida. I think here they're supposed to be, or they just did open California Adventure to a certain capacity.
Okay.
And I know even in Tokyo they just opened Nintendo Super Nintendo World last week.
What?
Yeah,
Super Nintendo World.
yeah,
That's freaking wicked, man. Oh yeah,
yeah,
we'll have to do an entire podcast on that. That'd be
yeah.
sick.
Actually, it was fun when I was talking to, I think it was the Imagineer. He discussed doing a podcast just on theme parks and stuff. So we
Yeah,
should
no,
get you in on that.
yeah, no, dude, I think that would be a huge extension from this. Um, and yeah, just going around and just like, hey guys, these are the tips, tricks, and secrets.
Yeah.
So
Let's do a ride one by one every episode, and we'll do a little secret about each one.
yeah. Well, and see, and that's another thing too, is like, theme parks are so classic. If you think about
Yeah.
like the concept of them, um, in what, like the 50s, 60s, and why they even started to boom as what they were. But um, yeah, no, like theme parks would definitely be really cool. I've been thinking about just going to like Six Flags, or even here they have Elitch, which is very small, but it's still pretty fun to go.
Mhm.
And but yeah, that would be so cool, especially Disney World or Universal, any of those ones where you need more than one day, you need more than
Right.
one trip or one episode to go through and really like capture the experience like that. That'd be so crazy, man. I think people would just absolutely love on that. That'd be crazy.
Because they all the theme parks have such big fan bases, especially Disney and Universal.
Yeah. Yeah, and or even like doing like episodes on like the little side games and stuff, or um
Yeah.
uh, just stuff like that. And it's restaurants. I'm sure that Disney's got thousands of restaurants you could go on
Oh yeah.
there. So have you drinking around the world yet?
So on my last trip to Epcot, it was the middle of December, so this past December, and I actually went with it was before I moved here. One of the roommates that I'm here with now, him and his girlfriend and her sister came down, and I was kind of their tour guide because I had been to all the parks before and I knew the area. So I took him, and I was the one that was driving, so I couldn't drink too much. They
Gotcha.
they definitely enjoyed themselves drinking around the world. There was a fig vodka that we tried in Germany. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
You said
It was
fig?
Yeah, fig vodka. It's only 20% alcohol, but it doesn't hit you like normal vodka. It's very sweet, so it goes
Yeah.
down. And then he got a German beer. It was very dark and it was very smooth going down. So it was. I had to be very careful about like he's like try this, try this, try this, and I'm like I'm driving, man. Like I can't have too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, they had some drinks around the world. We tried some things in Tokyo, in Japan. We had like a plum wine and like some kind of tea. It was very good.
Yeah. That's one of my dreams there, is to go drinking around the world.
Yeah, if you ever go to Florida to visit, I'll go and we'll go together.
All right, man. I'll hold you to that one.
The Food and Wine Festival at Epcot.
They have what?
Yeah, they have the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. I'm not sure. I think they still did it late last year, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing it this year unless it's already underway. Because I want to say they do it in spring. Sometimes they do it in fall. I think. I'm not sure. I've never been to the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot.
Okay.
But
Now, so for somebody that would be traveling just as a tourist or somebody like that, um, and as a general basis for anybody out there, what would you say would be like the budget to take on like say like a 4 day trip, 4 or 5 day trip to Florida and Disney World and going to visit the parks?
so this is actually something I wanted to get into. There's a event called the Orlando Informer, and the Orlando Informer meetup. So the company, the Orlando Informer, is like the Orlando updating website. So like they do, like they have their own podcast and the Instagram and stuff, and they update things about the park and what's going on and stuff. But they have their own event where they rent out the entirety of Universal and Islands of Adventure for the night, and it's a private event. So
Okay.
you pay for the price of a 2 day park admission, and you go from, I think this year they're doing it from 7 to 12:30, and then the next night is 7 to 1:30. So it's a Friday and Saturday event, and it's a certain amount of tickets that are sold, so all of the lines in the theme parks are only maybe 5 to 10 minutes long max. And
Wow.
you get all of the food and non-alcoholic drinks that you want. So you can go into
Okay.
any of the restaurants and you can get pizza, you can get pasta, you can get chicken wings, you can get what else do they have? Burgers, hot dogs, pizza, like whatever you want, tacos, chicken sandwiches, just as much
And
as you
it's like
want.
it's like a buffet or something, or
So yeah, it's you basically with COVID now it had changed. You have to go and you have to order and they bring it to you. But before it was just you wait in line, you walk up to the counter, say this is what I want, and they hand it to you.
okay. That's wicked, man. That's
Yeah. So for the instead of going to the park during the day, fighting the crowds and paying for food, you pay the same price, go at night when it's cooler, and you get all the food and the lines are 5 minutes long
yeah.
or less.
And you stay until what, 12 o'clock, you said?
Yeah, I think it's so you can get in, I think, at 3 and kind of do the whole day park thing, and then they kick people out at like 7, and then it's only for the private guests, and it goes to 12:30 and then 1:30 the next night.
Okay.
So
Man,
that
that's yeah, that sounds like a deal right there.
I think the next one is June, but they usually do 2 or 3 a year. So if you're not able to make the June one, they usually do one in December.
In December. Okay.
Yeah, and that's also when Grinchmas is. So you can meet the Grinch and the Who's and stuff in
All right. Yeah, no, that I'll have to remember. So aside from Grinchmas, because that sounds freaking awesome. um, what would be like what's the ideal time of year to go? Would it be
um
winter?
so me going all the time, I would say whenever you can. But the best time to go if you're visiting from out of state, probably the beginning of the year, like January, February, because
Okay.
the kids are back in school, people are back to work, the holidays are kind of over. So everybody's doing their jobs and staying busy. So I'd say those are probably the best times to go.
Okay.
Um, Last year before COVID, they did the private event, and then December. So the year before that, I think they did three. So usually they do one February, one June or July, and then one December. So I'm hoping next year they do one that way.
Yeah.
But this year, I think it, like I said, it's June and probably going to be December.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean it makes sense. There's still a lot of moving parts with the virus and everything going on too. So uh, yeah, no, that's wicked. Yeah, no, thanks for sharing that because that's definitely something that I have thought about just recently that it was like, huh, like kind of want to go to like California or Florida. Haven't decided yet, but I think that would be a pretty decent trip to go, especially now that I'm older, to go drinking around the world and
Yeah.
kind of experience Disney as an adult.
Yeah, that was, and that's something that I actually prefer Universal over Disney for, is that Universal I feel is more for everybody. Like they have the rides for the kids and the rides for the teens and the tweens and the young adults, and then they have shows and stuff for older people.
Yeah.
Where Disney, as much as I love Disney, I feel like it's more of a kiddie experience, if you will.
Okay.
But like I love the rides, but at the same time, like I can't go to Disney like I can to Universal. Like I go to Disney, I go on It's a Small World or Pirates, and I'm like, okay, this is fun. Like I don't think I need to do it again for another 8, 9 months. Or Universal, I can go on the roller coasters and I'm like, that was awesome. Let's go again. You know?
Yeah. No, yeah, that's sick. Did Universal, they finished their little Harry Potter themed section, didn't they?
So yeah, each so Universal and Islands of Adventure, it's the same area, just the two different parks. So they each have their own area. So Islands of Adventure open first, and they have Hogsmeade and the
Okay.
castle. So there's you can explore Hogsmeade, and they have the castle, and inside the castle they have the Forbidden Journey, which is you're riding on a broom with Harry. So that's really
Okay.
cool. And then they have the Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure, which is a high-speed roller coaster outside.
Okay.
And then Universal, the Universal Park itself, has Diagon Alley. So you can explore Diagon Alley, and then they have Gringotts Bank, and there's a high-speed roller coaster inside that's also kind of 3D.
Yeah.
So yeah, both
That
of those are
okay.
done.
Yeah, no, and that's really cool because that's another fascination that I'd like to go check out too. That especially since it's been open for what, like 5, 6 years now at this point.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then actually this summer, I want to say June, they're opening a new roller coaster in Jurassic Park, the Velocicoaster. It's supposed to be, is it the tallest one in Universal? And I think it's supposed to be the fastest in Orlando. I think.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the park's probably going to be flooded this summer.
Yeah. See, stuff like that freaks me out because like what if it just goes like it just straight off the rail, you know?
It's pretty scary. I know SeaWorld is actually opening a new one this year too, and it's weird to look at because where you start, it I want to say it pulls you back up to a point and then stops. So like the track is it looks like it's not finished.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
so it pulls you back and then it launches you up. And I want to say that opens this summer too. So that one's kind of scary to look at.
Yeah, no, that's wicked, man. Like roller coasters are like once I get on one or like try like a couple of them and come off okay, I think I'm good. But if going back the next day, it's like, nah, man, I'm gonna die.
Are you a roller coaster junkie? Have you been on a lot?
No,
No?
yeah, I mean, like when I was younger, yeah, I definitely get on a roller coaster and just go ham, just every single one, just try and get to it as quickly as possible, but yeah, now that I'm older and like looking at some of those things, and it's like, man, like, and then especially too, like here at Elitch, they have this one. It's just a loop, like it pulls you back and shoots you through a loop, goes that way, and then comes all the way back, and then it's done.
Okay.
But as you're like waiting in line and like walking up on the stairs and stuff, waiting in line, it's a metal. The entire thing is all metal.
Hmm.
So as this roller coaster is doing its thing, the entire thing is shaking, and you're just kind of like,
Oh,
man, like,
wow.
do I really want to like get on this ride?
Those always sketch me out.
Yeah, no, it's so crazy. But yeah, I mean, when you get off and you're like, huh, that was fun.
Yeah. Like, oh, I lived. I was safe. Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah.
They have one at Universal. It's called Rip Ride Rocket. And as soon as you get on, there's a lap bar that comes across you and it has a little screen on it.
Oh,
And
okay.
it has speakers in the seat. So when the lap bar in the screen, you get to pick what song you want to listen to. And there's a camera on the seat in front of you. So it records you singing along and listening to the song while you're on the roller coaster, and you can buy the video at the end.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's funny. So like, oh my God, is it like pretty fast? Like it can actually like hear you singing?
I've never bought my own video because I think I look stupid. But yeah, it records very well and the music's loud, so I mean, I would assume a lot of people buy it.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool because especially now like studying like the recording arts and video production and audio engineering, all that stuff. It's kind of cool to think about how engineers are basically they're hired to go in there and design those sort of systems. If this is the concept this person wants, go in there and say, hey, well, put speakers right here, make sure that the sound is well enough when it goes through this tunnel, or
Right.
however it may be. So yeah, no, that's actually really fascinating, that we've come to this point of roller coasters.
Right. Like it used to be just the one picture of you at the dropping point being scared, and now it's recording you the entire ride listening to music and singing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, dude. There was one question I had in my mind, but I'll have to remember it. Oh, is it pretty like typical or often that they like tear down rides and rebuild them?
So,
Like,
unfortunately,
yeah, like in my mind, I'm like, how do they have the room for all of this?
all of the classic rides that I grew up riding, there's only one left, and that's ET. And I
Okay.
heard a rumor that if they take ET out of it's super dated and half the like animatronics don't work in the ride anymore.
Ooh.
But I heard a rumor that if they take ET out of the park, Steven Spielberg will cut all of his deals with Universal.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's kind of his baby. But anyway, so that's still there. But all of the other rides they have demolished. So Jaws used to be a big water ride there, and that's actually where the new Harry Potter park is, Diagon Alley.
Wow.
Yeah, so they tore all that out, filled in the water areas, rebuilt over it. And same thing with like Back to the Future. Back to the Future used to be a ride there. They replaced it with Simpsons. So now you have Springfield.
Wow. That's
Um,
wicked.
Yeah, and there used to be so it used to be Hanna-Barbera, so it used to be like Yogi Bear and Flintstones and stuff, and they turned that into Jimmy Neutron, and then from Jimmy Neutron they turned the exact same ride into Despicable Me. So it's a lot of reskinning kind of the same things into new themes for like the younger generations or what's popular.
Yeah.
Um, but I had a friend who worked at Universal up until recently, and he said that since Comcast owns them, they have a deal with Comcast where they have to put something new in the park every single year. So
Wow.
last year it was they opened a new cafe. And then this year they're opening the new roller coaster in Jurassic Park. So every year there's supposed to be something new. And like I said, a lot of times it's reskinning something, whereas the new Jurassic Park coaster took kind of an area that wasn't being used in Jurassic Park and built on top of it. So half the coaster is over Jurassic Park World and half of it's over the water that is next to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it just made me wonder because you're talking about all these new developments and stuff. So yeah, like how do they have the room for all of this for
Yeah.
one? And then I could totally see that though too, where things just are getting a little outdated. Um, not necessarily in the sense of what the theme is, but definitely the roller coaster, the attraction itself,
Yeah.
getting rusty or worn out. So I totally understand that. But yeah,
There
that was just kind of interesting to think because like Back to the Future, growing up, like that was kind of a steeple.
mhm.
Um what was it? You said Jaws was another one too,
Yep.
that I remember watching growing up. And you ask kids today, they have no idea.
Yeah. It
So,
sucks, but different generation grows up with different things.
yeah. Well, and then to think like how much they're investing every year on making new attractions every
Hmm.
single year. So, and tearing them down if need be. So that's the other thing to think about as well, of how much cash flow is needed to do stuff like that.
Right.
Um, so that's wicked.
So I also don't know if you know, but Universal is actually opening an entirely new theme park in Orlando.
No, I did not know that.
So it's only gonna be a few miles down the road, but it's gonna be laid out kind of like Magic Kingdom at Disney World. So Magic Kingdom, have you been to Magic Kingdom
I've
in Orlando,
Last time I
Florida?
went to Orlando and Disney World, I was probably like 13, 14, somewhere around there. I was still in middle school, I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
So like the way Magic Kingdom is laid out is like they have like Fantasyland and they have like Tomorrowland and they have like the different lands and the different themes.
Okay.
So that's kind of how the new park's going to be laid out. It's going to be called Epic Universe, and they actually just recently started construction again last month. So from what I've heard, is they're supposed to have a How to Train Your Dragon Land, Fantastic Beasts Land, Super Nintendo World, and there's supposed to be a land for all of the classic Universal monsters,
Okay.
among other things that have not been disclosed yet.
Yeah. That's a lot. Well, and then to think like well, that's Universal. I was thinking Marvel, that's all Disney. But yeah, I think that'll be really, really cool. They're putting it like in a different area, or is it like it's a
Yeah,
different completely park, right?
it's a completely different park. So where the one park sits now, across the street they have hotels, and then I think the new park's supposed to be like another mile or two down the street from those hotels. So it's only
Okay.
going to be like 2 or 3 miles down the road. So
Okay.
you could probably take, I would assume, shuttles from one park to the next, kind of like they do at Disney.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, when I start planning for that one, I'm gonna hit you up
I
to.
want to say, since construction was delayed, I want to say late 2023, 2024.
Okay.
It'll be a few years, but yeah, definitely let me know if you go down to the parks. I'll be glad to show you around.
Yeah. Well, and especially too, out there in California, I know they got some really good one, like what is it, Legoland, Lego World, Legoland.
I know, yeah, so I know there's about Legoland in Florida. I don't know too much about if there's one out here or anything,
Oh, okay. I
but
guess I got that backwards.
I know I want to go to Disneyland here in California Adventure. Haven't been able to do those yet, and I want to go to Universal Hollywood, but again, shut down, and they're like a 4.5, 5 hour drive, and I'm like,
Yeah. No, yeah, that'll be fun, man.
yeah.
So San Jose, is that's like middle north or like southern California?
So I'll pull it up on a map so I don't sound stupid talking about where I live. But it's more, I would say, central.
Central.
So
Okay.
we're about 40 minutes east of San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay. That helps out a little bit.
So yeah, we're, I would say, central, north central, and on the west coast.
Okay. You've gone to the beach yet?
So we went down. Me and my friend visited back in August, and our friend that we know mutually here, one of the roommates I have now, took us to San Francisco, but it was really cold because it's super windy there all the time. So we didn't get to go in the water, but we walked around on the beach. But I will tell you that we went to Lake Tahoe also in that August, and we went swimming there. That water was freezing.
Ooh.
It felt good because it was a hot day, but it's freezing. And the sand, it's not like beach sand where it's nice and like silky, like a powdered sugar. It's more of like a crushed walnut shell.
Ooh, yeah, that hurts.
So yeah, it's a little abrasive. And because there's a lot of tourists and people that live there, there's geese everywhere, and so you have to be watching out for goose poop.
Yeah.
So
No,
keep your
yeah,
sandals on.
I feel that. Yeah, we have geese here all the time too. They'll attack you. They have no
Really?
problem attacking. Yeah, they like they stand in their little flocks, walking down the streets and whatnot. And if you get a little too close, they just look at you like, back
Like,
up, bro.
back up.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we're
no, that's
planning
that's
another
awesome.
trip
I'm
soon. It's
I'm
it's
excited
nice.
that you're out there. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
You're good. You're good. We're just planning another trip here at the end of May to Lake Tahoe. So for our other friend who lives in Illinois, he hasn't seen it yet. So
Okay.
yeah, if you ever come out here, we'll show you around.
Yeah, for sure.
I do want to make a trip back to Colorado too because I loved it up there when we did our retreat.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing too is one, especially now that I have my car to go around and explore a lot. Like I went over like Estes Park, for instance. I still have yet to go up there, and that's like a 3 hour drive. There's Telluride. It's only a few miles from here, but it's like a 6 hour drive, and that's just because the roads are just so windy. You're going through the mountains and stuff. But that'd be so cool to go up there. They got those ice caverns.
Ooh, I can
Yeah,
see
so
that.
it like, oh my God, dude, it's just okay. There's so many things out here in Colorado that I don't even like, can't even conceptualize, but they're all over the place, and I still have yet to go visit and take a look at some of these things.
Yeah, same thing out here. Even like we went to San Francisco, it was just Fisherman's Wharf, but there's so much more to it, and that I
Yeah,
just haven't gone out there yet.
yeah.
And like the
Um,
redwoods and stuff.
yeah. Well, and then what's cool about that too is like say if we were to create content around those areas, and say like, why don't we create like a YouTube channel? Well, like we'll just go back to the roller coasters, like you creating the content for roller coasters and offering that, and then being able to throw it up on a website like mine, and like
Yeah,
just teaching people about like theme parks, the design behind it, and then connecting, like getting individuals who are like really fascinated about that to connect with people like the Imagineer, like you're saying,
right,
and really learn about their job and what it takes to do their job and why they fascinate about it, and how to inspire other kids or other people to really build to that point in their own life.
right.
Imagine how many theme parks we'd have. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, because even just the one Imaginary I talked to, he's like, yeah, I worked at Disneyland and I had a hand in this at Disney World, and I worked on Epic Universe, the new Universal Park. And I'm like, can you tell me about that? And he's like, no, I'm sorry, I can't tell you anything. And I'm like, damn. Like, yeah, I worked in Tokyo Disneyland, or was maybe it wasn't Tokyo, it was Singapore, Singapore or Beijing. I'm sorry, Beijing. It's Beijing. So yeah, he's by himself. He's worked in so many different places. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, dude, it'd be so crazy. So yeah, we'll have to connect and collab on that sometime once
Yeah,
I get this back end figured out, and then yeah, dude, we could like just run it and just throw some ads up and get people subscribing to you.
totally down. I'm building up a Facebook page right now too. So
Yeah, dude, I bet that thing is blowing up too. Like I'm guessing you've been making posts like at least every week, right?
trying to every week. So right now, after we do this, I'll go and post and say that I got you as a guest, and then I'll actually probably put this episode up tomorrow. So I'll be able to post that about tomorrow, and then the video on Monday. So that'll be a post for next week, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, no, that'll be awesome. Let me know, because I can I'll go ahead and promote it too,
Appreciate it.
share the posts and get people on there. Because yeah, like this is what I need. Like I need collaborators, dude. Like I've been complaining to, and in fact I just got one of my college professors as a mentor to help me out with this stuff. Because yeah, like I'm just doing it all on my own, but to be able to collaborate with somebody and say, hey, like let's kind of look into this sort of project, um and like that's what I fascinate about, is like the whole production side, and then to go out and do it, and that whole process too. The only thing that I'm not good at is the editing.
I get that. Same
So
here.
that we'll have to figure out. Because I will sit there all day and criticize every little tiny point and edit it out, and the next thing you know, it's not even a video.
Right. It's like you
So
went from a 20-minute video to like 3 minutes, and you're like, this is the only good part I like.
you're right. Yeah. So yeah, no, we'll definitely connect some more and collaborate on that. And yeah, get this thing going, dude. Like I'm excited for you and how this has been going and running for you. And yeah, I need more people to bring on board. So I think this is a valuable opportunity to have here. So
Absolutely.
thanks for bringing me on, because
Sure.
this
I'm glad to
yeah.
have you as a guest.
Oh yeah. I'm glad to have you as a friend, man. Like
Yeah,
this is sick.
absolutely. It was amazing that we just all randomly met and now we're all friends.
Yeah. So do you have any so who else do you plan on interviewing from? Have you gotten like Raj or Marshall or
So Raj was
Matab or
actually my very first interview. And so a few people told me that the audio was kind of messed up because I made a mistake my very first podcast. I looked into some stuff and I decided I would split my audio from his audio. So I have two separate tracks. That was a
yeah.
mistake. If you don't know what you're doing, that was a mistake. I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to manually, in a separate program, line up our audio tracks with the video. And so a few people told me that they were running over each other. So I still haven't been able to go back and re-fix that and re-upload it. But
Yeah.
from now on, I just do one single track and I don't worry about lining anything up. But anyway, so I had Raj. Now I have you. I definitely need to reach out to Matab and I need to reach out to Marshall because I know they both have some very cool information to share, especially with what Marshall did before our meetup.
Yeah, and yeah, that was it, very valuable, going through the coaching and learning um just that sort of thing, dude. Like whatever problems you're having, like don't think that you have all the answers. Like take a video of it and share that, because that's going to be the value that people have.
Right.
It's the same questions that you and I have that we're dealing with. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. The So you said Raj was the first. So um what was I going to? So you're on Spotify, right?
I believe I'm on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Overcast. There's another one that I'm not familiar with that I think I'm on as well.
Atta boy. No, that's freaking awesome. And because I asked, because I'm learning a lot about Spotify right now in the music industry, and I was just kind of curious how the royalties and the streams played out for podcasters in that sense. Um,
So really, the only way that I believe I'm getting paid right now, and I haven't really even gotten paid yet because I don't have that many listeners, but you can, Anchor allows you to set up an advertisement that you record for them and put that in your podcast. And once you reach, I think 1,000 listeners, you get like $15. So every 1,000 listeners, you get like $15.
okay,
Yeah.
that's not too bad. Now they do like they do subscription based, or how does that
Anchor's
work?
free. I don't know how. I know they distribute to all the different platforms, but I don't know how they work necessarily. Because I know Spotify, they have the premium, but I don't. You don't have to be premium to listen to it. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird because, like, from what I learned from a musician or an artist standpoint, that it has a lot to do with the amount of streamers, as well as how many people are listening to your songs, your music, as well as like the demographic and geographic areas associated with that too. So which isn't, like, in the end it's not that much, but I mean, if you're doing all the work alone, I mean, the payout's definitely much higher than if you had like a record label or somebody else that was dealing with distribution.
Right.
So yeah, I was just curious, so that way I could go in and actually share some of those episodes and try and drive traffic for you that way too.
Yeah, I appreciate anything you could do, and I'll get the word out for you too.
Yeah. So anyway, man.
But it was really nice connecting with you again. Is there any? Okay, so before I get off topic here, off track, there's two things I always like to do at the end of every episode. Is
Okay.
number one, do you have anything you want to plug? Plug anything you want in.
Plug, like, what do you mean?
So any social medias, any websites, anything like that, just put it all
Yes.
out there.
So you for all the listeners, they can go watch my streams at livefyc.com, liveforyourconvenience.com, or they could go to my social media. Facebook is just Mexican Burrito. It'll be, yeah, Facebook is Mexican Burrito. Instagram is underscore double O 00 Cero. Like Spanish zero, CERO. I don't know if that helps at all, but yeah, so it'll be underscore double O Cero on Instagram. Twitch will be Mexican Burrito, as well as Live for Your Convenience as well. I run both of those pages. So yeah, go follow, like, subscribe, social media, YouTube, especially Live for Your Convenience. And eventually I will get all of those changed to be adequate. So they're all across the board the same thing.
You just look up one name and you get it all.
Yeah, Instagram's kind of hard because people create fake profiles and they don't
Yeah.
destroy those profiles. So when it comes to like live FY, I think actually live FYC on Instagram worked on that one. But yeah, just live FYC across the board. And then if you're looking for me personally, it'll be Mexican Burrito on Facebook and then Double O Zero on Instagram.
There you go. Go follow him. Go get those channels. Go look at all that content and learn some stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm fired up for it.
So the other thing I like to do is, do you have any, how do I put this? Do you have any advice for anybody looking to get into the field that you're getting into as well?
My biggest advice, and I what's great advice. So my biggest advice, and I say this because this is my biggest issue that I'm dealing with right now, is don't be afraid to network with people. There's like me growing up, I never really had great communication skills. So it's taken me a lot to get out there and try and like present myself and understand how to portray my ideas and pitch them to people that actually would invest in them. So I would say just network as much as possible and see what your strengths are, what they're not, and use those to your advantage and delegate everything else.
Okay.
So,
All right. You heard it here. Take that and run with it.
oh yeah. Well, thanks for having me on the show, RJ. I really do appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. I'm glad you wanted to be on the show. I'm very happy to have you on. We had a great conversation.
Oh yeah. And well, I look forward to the roller coaster trips. We'll have to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know when you're visiting
We'll do it.
and we'll collab something. So
All right.
thanks
Well,
again for coming on, man.
yeah, no problem. You have a good afternoon, brother.
You too.
Bye.